What's going on, guys? BossHope6 here, back to another video, and today I'm going to be doing Season 3 of the Lost Tapes Retrospective. Now, this one... Guys, I'm not gonna, beat around the bush. This season basically sucked. This is not a follow-up to Season 2. Season 2 had probably two or three stinkers, but the majority of that season was flat out perfect in my opinion. This laid an egg majorly. Don't get me wrong, there are some good episodes here. There's some classic ones, in fact. But this features some of the worst monsters I have ever seen on a TV show. Period. From a cryptid standpoint and from a monsters standpoint, these monsters are flat out terrible. And it introduces a thing that's going to be kind of a recurring theme in some of these episodes. And this episode and this season features the dumbest characters ever, and that is saying something when being compared to this season. This features the dumbest characters you'll ever see in your entire life on a TV show. So, without further ado, let's get into episode 1 of season 3. I'm sorry. I'd rather watch season 1 than watch this piece of shit. Zombies. It features new things. There's no intro. There's no, music intro. You get, footage of how the creature is first encountered, and that sets the pace for the whole, episode. Okay. That is actually not a bad idea. That's actually pretty good. But it does have a lot of questionable... This has a lot of questionable intros. Okay, so what happened is this team called the Enigma Corporation, I'm just going to say, it's a ripoff of the Umbrella Corporation from Resident Evil. Blatant ripoff. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Blatant ripoff. And it's basically where this group of, highly trained, military officers, they go and try to find out why these things exist and what are these creatures about. Well, this one man is known to be the first ever recorded zombie in history, which makes no sense because I'm pretty sure they spawned all the way back, I think, even in the 60s and 50s, I want to say. But, the first ever zombie attack, and it takes place on Mardi Gras. And then the military team, Umbrella Corporation, they go and they try to find out, what are the zombies about? This episode's very dumb. Very, very, very dumb looking back on it. Stupid decisions. You have a zombie that is tied up, and one of the guys is, talking to him and saying snap out of it when it's eating themselves. Now, okay, looking back on it, I'm like, these people are so retarded. I'm sorry, these people are borderline retarded. But here's the thing. I did hear a couple people say that they may be under some type of spell or some kind of psychosis and they can't snap out of it. Okay. If they are eating their arm, why would you still think they're under a trance? No, I'm sorry, I'm not buying it. The guy then gets eaten by the zombie. Now, I will admit, there's a couple creepy scenes in this episode, but my god, this episode is dumb. This makes you question your mental state. Yeah, this episode sucks. I'm sorry. It's so stupid, and I can't believe that they started off season 3 with this. And this kind of tells us how season 3 is going to go. Next up, we have Kraken. I want to like this episode. I really want to like it. Because the Kraken technically exists because of the giant squid. Now, this episode tells the story of this one guy that's this famous, treasure hunter, basically. And he's going around all these corners of the globe and finding, the best treasure ever to be found. Well, unfortunately, they encounter the thing and they get knocked off one by one. The problem is, it's a water episode. And you don't basically see the thing. And when you do, it's CGI. Yes, they incorporated CGI in the season. They blew their load all over this. They blew their budget over this bullshit. And that's what kills the season. They use a little too much CGI, and it's so baffling. Now, they still use some practical effects and some costume designs. But my god, the CGI is just terrible. And it shows it way too much at the end, where the camera guy gets grabbed by the tentacle and it goes, like, the camera shoots into the Kraken's eye, and it's so fake. It is so unbelievably fake, and it's so phony. So yeah, I really want to like this episode because there are some good elements, like, again, the aquaphobia, part of it. My god, this episode is it just doesn't work. I want to like this episode. But yeah, I just couldn't get into it. Sorry. Next up, we have Strigoi, or the Strigoi vampire. Holy god, this thing is unkillable. This thing is literally unkillable. It has, unbelievable speed. Like, this will make you some bolt big on its knees to calm down a little bit. It is indestructible. It's a shapeshifter, so it kind of has some elements of a skinwalker a little bit. It's hard to kill. It is very hard to kill. Now, this episode, I think, has more good than bad. Don't worry, there are some bad, like... Okay, basically, there was an oil spill that happened, and it's Bree, like, it features Umbrella again. This may be the best Umbrella Incorporation episode. Maybe. Yeah, because there's only 3. Yeah, there's only, I think, 3 episodes with the Umbrella, I'm pretty sure. But, basically, they go into where an oil spill happened, and there's apparently this deadly, gas, and they're wearing hazmat suits and shit. Well, one of the suits gets ripped off by one of them, and they think they're going to breathe in this toxic gas and they're going to die from it. Turns out that was a whole bunch of bullshit. They find a survivor, and it turns out that he's actually the Strigoi vampire. The 2 doctors get murked by this guy, and in a dumb way where, yes, they find the tranquilizer dart in his mouth, but they pull it out and he transforms to the vampire. The lady doesn't shoot him. She just points the gun at him, and he grabs him by her arm and kills them both. It's so dumb. Like, just shoot the goddamn guy. And then towards the end, when I think Elise Mooney, who, for those of you who don't know, she is part of High School DxD, she drives away, and then one of the guys is telling her, hey, stop all that stuff. She goes and park, but the Strigoi attacks her, and they say, Elise lost control. Now, there's some people say she wasn't park. She was being attacked by the thing. She could have shifted into gear and still drove off while trying to avoid the thing. There's also some continuity errors in this episode. But, yeah, there are some more good than bad, but it's still kind of meh. So, yeah, we're not off to a really good start here. And then Poltergeist happened. Sweet Christ, this episode is very, very freaky. Very weird. Basically tells a story about this kid that basically develops telekinesis. But it turns out that the house is actually haunted. A murderer named Charles has haunted a place, and he's kind of using the kid, Troy, to be like, his accomplice. Like, he's basically, what the hell is the word? I don't remember what the word is off the top of my head, but basically using him as an energy source to, do his dirty deeds, basically. Knives are all over the place, there's some weird voices, there's some shit being thrown around, all that stuff. Then an investigative team with, like, a black guy, a regular guy, and, like, a chick in a wheelchair, and they encounter the creepy, things. The intro to this episode is flat out terrifying. Because normal intro, you would hear drums and all that stuff before you get to see, facts and footage and all that stuff. There's none of that. It's just silence. Flat out silence. And it's so weird. The one black guy, he, gets attacked and he just, it's silent. And then he starts bleeding. That's weird. Girl in the wheelchair gets choked to death. And the way that the final guy dies, the intensity and the feeling that this guy's gonna get killed, he dies in the most brutal and just unpredictable way possible. Just insane. There was a dumb moment where the lead guy hears a noise by the door, and he opens the blinds, and he sees the killer, he sees the ghost with the knife, and then they say, what happened? He said, oh, nothing happened. Okay, that was just dumb. Just, dude, that's your job. You should know, you should say, oh, I saw something. And they're not gonna think you're weird. That shit happens all the time when you're in a paranormal investigative. But yeah, besides that and a couple other pretty dumb moments, this episode is just flat out creepy in every sense of the word. So, I like it. Oh, Lord in heaven. Next up, we have Devil Monkey. We have Monkey next. Sweet Christ, this episode's violent. And just, god damn, this episode is just hostile. These monkeys are just brutal. In a way, this is the most brutal episode of Lost Tapes, and I am saying that lightly. Basically what happened is that these group of this team is going out and trying to track down the poachers or moonshiners and all that stuff. Well, they find one of the attackers from earlier in the intro. Him and his buddy got attacked by these monkeys, who we don't even know what they are. They are just violent apes, essentially. My god, these things are just insane. But, yeah, limbs are thrown apart. Bones are just turning to mush. These things are intelligent as hell. And the one scene from one of the guys, I think his name is Lauren Coleman or something like that. He says this one thing. You don't want to wander into the forest of the devil monkey. It may be the last thing you'll ever done. Holy shit, that is terrifying. These things are very intelligent and very resourceful. These things, I don't know if they are alive. If these things do exist, I am avoiding them like I'm avoiding the plague. Seriously. I think they live somewhere in the Appalachian Mountains, I believe. No thanks. I love monkeys. Not that one. But yeah, brutal. Very violent. Very violent. And that's another thing. This season features some of the most ferocious, just vicious, episodes. And the next episode is saying that to a T. Yeti. God damn, this one is brutal as well. I mean, my God, it is just insane that this. Whew, man, oh man. Basically, a couple people go and find Mark Holstrom, a guy that got attacked by this, weird creature, and, it lived in a crate and it escaped, and it's on this weird, ship, and my God, this thing's just insane. It, devours rats. It killed the shit out of one guy. His arm just gets thrown. The only thing that pissed me off is the ending. It is very claustrophobic. It is claustrophobic square. The only thing that pissed me off is the ending. The ending was so frustrating. So the Yeti is cornering these two people, and the security guard, is trying to unlock the door because they can't, get to the door because it's locked. Security guard's like, what the hell are you guys doing here? He looks at the Yeti, he just bolts the F out, and basically two people die. It is such a horseshit ending. It's basically the one with Southern Sasquatch, but this one is just more rage-inducing because a guy could have helped them. But yeah, and then it says it's due to government interference. Horseshit, I say, but it's whatever. But yeah, this episode is violent. Very violent. Yeah, this thing is not friendly. Oh boy. And then we get Wendigo, the American cannibal. Yeah, this traumatized a lot of people. It kind of traumatized me as well, and that's why I don't like going into the woods sometimes. Basically, it tells a story about a group of campers that go on this camping trip, but they get lost. And basically, one of them resorts into a cannibal, and they're trying to escape him. And then this group of researchers, or this investigative team, they go out and try to find the survivors. Well, basically, they find one of them, the rest of them get mauled. Everyone dies. No one lives. Everyone dies in this episode. This features probably the highest kill count of any Lost Tape episode. And I'm saying that verbatim. There's 10 people dead. That is a killing spree. That is a mass murder. Jesus. The one scene that gets me is when the one chick leg that, her bone is sticking out, and they push her back. Ugh, God, I get a shiver every time I think about it. Yeah, no thank you on that. The Wendigo encounters are just downright terrifying. The first time you see him, he is not friendly. They resort cave demon-like effects, like sound effects, and it's very weird. The characters are kind of dumb. The way that the one chick that gets killed, where the camera is swinging in a circular motion, the way she gets killed, that was very innovative. The cannibals, the Wendigo is terrifying. This thing is terrifying as hell. So yeah, no thank you. No thank you. Oh. We have to talk about Q next. This episode's a pile of dog shit, and I'll tell you why. This is the worst episode of Lost Tapes. One of the worst things I have ever seen in my entire life. Holy hell, this episode is bad. This is horrid, offensive, atrocious, an abomination, a failed abortion. Literally everything I can say about this episode is dog shit. Seriously, folks. You are taking mythological creatures and you put them into a show about cryptids. That is not how that works. Seriously. That is not how that works. Basically, it's where these group of idiots, aka the Enigma Corporation, they try to find out what the hell happened to it, and it talks about cult sacrifices and rituals. And when they said that, I was immediately uninterested, because I'm like, you've already lost me. You can't see the thing. It's a horrible CGI. The thing itself looks like something out of a Disneyland theme park. The dialogue is terrible. The characters suck. The acting is atrocious throughout this entire episode. And you can basically say that for the majority of the season, but I digress. The CGI is shit. This is one of the most offensive things I've ever seen. This ruined the show for me. And there's 2 more episodes after this. I almost stopped watching Lost Tapes because of this. This was appalling in every wrong way. This was terrible. Flat out terrible. Excuse me. This episode's shit. I debated whether this was... For a while, Thunderbird was worse than this. This is worse than Thunderbird. Because Thunderbird, at least, they talked about the Thunderbird. And they had child actors. This has no excuse to be as atrocious. I'm like, okay, it's going to be terrible, but they're going to find a way to, loop around it. No, this was worse than what I expected. This episode's terrible. Avoid it like the plague. This is the Elude the Venom and Sonus of Lost Tapes. Terrible. Terrible. And you're coming something after Wendigo. You're coming after one of the most haunting and downright frightening things in the world. And this is the follow-up? My God, dude. This thing could go suck an ass for all I care. But we get to Beast of Bray Road. Now this is a lot better. This is the Jason X of the entire show. And where it's so good, it's so bad, it's good. Basically, it's where a bunch of military, they go into the woods, and it's talking about Confederates and all that stuff, and they talk about this one guy named Steiner, and he may be, in cahoots with the government and all that stuff. And meanwhile, this thing, I don't even know what the hell it is. This thing is attacking him. The costume design is so goddamn weird. It's so stupid, but it works to an extent. It does not look like the actual Beast of Bray Road. It's a weird Yeti, or not Yeti, it's a weird Bigfoot-like creature, but Jesus, Lord in heaven, this thing's actually pretty brutal. You can see it walking on its legs. It looks like someone that is hopped up on coke. But I love it. I love this episode. It's so bad, it's good. Yeah, it's the Jason X of the entire show. So, after that, you think the show would have ended very good. But nope. Last episode, Reptilian. Now, in the Discord server I'm in, basically this is what everyone I talk to, this is basically their worst episode in their opinion. This is the worst episode in their opinion. Yeah, it's not hard to see why. This episode is a slap to the face to everyone that loved this show. This is a huge kick to the sack in a very bad way. It talks about conspiracy theories. Literally, This is Alex Jones' favorite episode, basically. Talks about conspiracy theories. And that reptilians may be humans the whole time. Okay then. I could turn into the lizard man after I'm done making this video if I wanted to. There's a couple good things that I could say about it. It's got a pretty good atmosphere. And the way that the bodies are hung, they're actually pretty creepy. Everything else is terrible. The characters suck. The story is kind of phoned in and kind of forced. The creature, though it is good in some parts, you constantly see the thing. You constantly see the thing, and that's what kind of ruins it. If it was hiding in the shadows and you weren't seeing the guy like every 5 minutes, then okay, yeah, this episode still would have sucked, but at least the creature would have been hiding. No, you constantly see it. The characters are outright retarded. I'm just gonna say it. They are retarded. They are the dumbest characters. It's just, oh my god, this episode's a mess. It is a mess. And I just, besides those two things that I kind of enjoy, everything else is a mess. Basically, it talks about, teenagers being kidnapped. In this underground, club or something like that. And they have this rave that has 5 people in it. Why is there a rave that has 5 people in it? And this creature has an addiction to ceramic wrap because that's basically what the creature wraps the people in. So yeah, this episode sucks, but it's better than Q in my opinion because there's a couple things I enjoy. So yeah, after that, no more lost tapes. The show just ended there with a frickin' church fart. Yeah, it's a damn shame because this show had potential. You can tell that for season 3, they had no idea what to do. They had nothing. Besides maybe another Bigfoot and maybe a couple other good, cryptids. It was based on mythology and folklore, basically. And that's why season 3 kind of sucks. They focus way too much on that. So yeah, season 3 is the least favorite season, but it has some gems. But overall, a lot of it sucks. So yeah, that does it, folks. That's all lost tapes for you. Yeah, thank you guys for watching this video. What is your favorite, your least favorite, and your creepiest episode of season 3 for Lost Tapes, in your opinion? Let me know that in the comment section below. Join the herd, like, comment, subscribe, and join the herd. Talk to you guys next video. Peace out.